Word on the street is that people don't find DMT. DMT finds you when you're ready. Well, there was a time in my life where blasting off was on the top of my bucket list. After a few years of searching and asking around, I found myself playing the part of a roadie and was at a music festival. Long story short, I found DMT vapes for sale and went for it. The first time I only took 2 hits, held them for about 8 seconds or so each. Nothing really happened when I closed my eyes besides a collection of tan lines dancing around in the darkness as if they were flames from a calm fire, but the flames were like line art only and not trying to really be reminiscent of fire. It just had that same vibe, the same feel. I tried again. 3 hits. It gets kind of hard to control your body after the second one. This time there was a definite presence around my headspace. However, I did feel like I was still inside my head. It's the same thing as when you are in a room with someone and they are right there next to you. You can tell that there's someone there even if you close your eyes. The thing didn't like me at all. It asked me plainly, using English words, "Why are you here?" I thought it meant there, like the DMT realm. My response was more an application of emotion bonded with my thoughts, like my feelings towards my triumph of having found DMT and have the meeting with it. Its response, "No, why are you here?" This time I thought it meant the festival, looking for it in the first place. It didn't give me time to respond, "No, why are you here?" And that's when I knew it was talking about being alive at all. After that, it sent me into a collection of memories of things I'm ashamed of, mostly centered around nature, both human nature and ecology type nature. It also made it clear that I am not something that the world needs and shouldn't be here. I asked if there was any way to right this or redeem myself. It said no and dismissed me, leaving me to return to the festival and my human life. After a year or so of pondering the experience and doing my best to learn how to apply it to my everyday life, I finally had the courage to try it again. Some advice I'd gotten was to do it again in a more safe place without people around and not having walked around in the sun all day, stuff like that. Stuff that makes total sense. So I did. Over the next few hours, I tried to break through around 5 times. Every time, the beings I encountered shut me out. Here's a collection of things I heard them say. "You're a reporter, and reporters aren't welcome here. You are flawed, unworthy of life. You have a lot of work to do on yourself, sir." A major theme they slammed into the forefront of my thoughts was that I was a part of humanity, as if being human at all was the equivalent of a cardinal level sin to these creatures, if you could call them that. That's another thing. I never once saw anyone. I only heard them and felt them. Their voices were plain English with no effects, but they all had their own personality to them. As to what I did see, I will describe the best I can. As I was putting the equipment down from taking my hits, there were a lot of tracers on everything, and it had the same look to it that it does when you rub your eyes or look at the sun and see the spots and colors on stuff. When I laid down and closed my eyes, it was black and white striped tubes that were layered on top of each other. These tubes would sparkle in a unique way. It was as if the sparkles of light were liquid, like it was light but liquid at the same time, with the same effect as oil or soap in water, causing the multicolored film that has movements that makes the surface tension itself appear to be dancing. The tubes would be moving in winding, sliding, directionless shifts, and occasionally I caught a glimpse of the end of one of the tubes, and it displayed something that reminded me of those face monuments in Egypt. At the end of the stripy liquid light tubes was a digital layer where sounds of technology beeping and lasery holographic wisps filled my ears for a moment. That's when I felt like I was being both watched and ignored by aliens. Like me being in this strange tech encasing was no big deal or something. I was being surveilled, but not in a poke the lab rat fashion, more of a observation and record keeping way. There was a feeling of pushing forward and hitting a screen, like I flew into a window that was impossible to see and broke right through it. After shattering it, I was thrown into a hyperspace ludicrous speed from Spaceball's style shuttle of dissipated self, and became the black and white striped tunnel from before, as if I was a part of it as others flew through it. After that, I heard voices ask if I was ready. I said yes. They asked if I was sure. I said yes again, more enthusiastically, like an excited child about to get a cookie or something. The voice became a choir of voices singing in layers and layers of chords. The choir was telling me to get ready for great times await. Then they said it again, quieter, then again, quieter. That's when I felt like myself again and acknowledged I was laying in my room, human again. Gross. That was the furthest I got that night. I got shut out every other time. When I say shut out, I mean everything went black, as it normally is when you shut your eyes. I felt like I was high, calm, and comfortable, and as if someone was there with me, but nothing fun or cool or enlightening. Just darkness and the feeling of being ignored. So I continued to try and find ways to iron out the wrinkles and misdirection in my ways of life and thinking while not getting in my own head about it too much. Like, wow, those guys freaking hate me or something.